Yes, Filiz Katman, a senior fellow at the Center for Syrian Studies at the University of St. Andrews. Filiz, thanks so much for coming in. Can we just pick up on that point that I was discussing there with Fadil Abdul Ghani? Why is the al-Shara government delaying the legal permission for political parties to be formed?
What happened in Syria in the past many years is a kind of a structure that it takes time to rebuild a new structure. So instead of an immediate change, it is better to have a kind of gradual change in the structure, which means that it will be a kind of robust, it will be strong, and it will be a kind of the one that fits to the new realities of Syria. So I think this is the main reason that should be taken into consideration while evaluating the transformation process that Syria has been going through, because what happened in the past years that took many years, it is really hard to create a kind of robust structure after that kind of very hard periods that Syria had been going through.
There are still many Daesh terrorists who are held in prisons by the YPG terror group in northern Syria. There have been reports over the past few days of Daesh cells launching attacks in that part of Syria. How big of a threat is this in terms of that part of Syria not being completely under the government's control, but having these two terror groups there?
This is the main challenge, I think, with regard to the strong and sustainable Syrian position in the Middle East. It's not only the problem of the Syrian government, I guess. It is a kind of Middle Eastern problem which deals very much with regard to neighboring countries, with regard to the stability which that prefers countries in the Middle East. So we should not consider it as a problem of the Syrian government. So this is one thing we should take it into consideration. And when we think about that, we should definitely think about Israeli involvement in this process. So while dealing with the terrorism, we should also take into consideration that counterterrorism operations need cooperation. So you can solve the problem within Syria domestically, but we should not forget that terrorism can only be totally countered with regard to the ties outside of the country, financial ties, military support, training support, and political support which are given to these terrorist organizations. And if these supports are not cut totally, we cannot talk about total counter-terrorism operations succeeding in that country. So I think this is one thing that al-Shara is trying to reach with the recent visits and recent diplomatic ties that al-Shara government tries to have with the neighboring region, with the neighboring countries, and also with the global actors in the Middle East.
How important is it that the Syrian diaspora returns? So many millions were internally displaced. Many millions had to leave the country. There was an opinion poll done at this time last year. About 54%, I believe, of Syrians who had escaped said that they wanted to go back. Now the number is more than 80%. And yet, in many parts of Syria, there's almost nothing to go back to.
This is one thing we should compare with what happened in Libya. I visited Libya back in those days, and the same spirit was ongoing, and the taxi driver who took me from the airport was the one who came from abroad to Libya with lots of hopes. But with regard to what happened in Libya, we should we should be very careful about it, that we should not let these people lose their hopes. And in that manner, a kind of a gradual process to integrate those people who are in diaspora to the country back. I know many students, many Syrian students who are dying to go back to their country, but they are watching it very closely, what is happening in Syria and how to return to their country, what is the basis, what are some kind of situations that they prefer to return. I think it will take some time to make those dreams come true for the Syrian people who really want to return to their country.
Yeah, and yet in a country where the majority of the population is still living below the poverty line. So the challenge is just beginning. Filiz Katman, really appreciate you coming into the studio.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.